after failing with the 225 turbo, I decided to order this S15 228 ball bearing turbo, which is super cool. And yeah, all I really need to do is add a 0.035 restrictor, and I ordered that, and I also ordered the GK Tech intake stuff to make it work with the S13 piping. And just to compare it with this 225, it's actually pretty big. So all I gotta do now, put on the exhaust manifold and turn the car on. Hopefully there's no leaks. So I'll see you then. No leaks, bitches! So, I obviously didn't read the instructions on this enamel paint, and I turned the car on and it started cooking, so I'm an idiot. But it runs, so whatever. So after getting my car running, I went to the glove box to get my tags so I can renew them, and I opened the glove box and I found out that my K-Office gloves been eaten away. Of course, I quickly assumed it was raccoons because I saw one in there in the summer, and well, I actually inspected the carpet and I found that there's small little feces and they're too small to be raccoon feces, which means there's rats inside my air vents and I gotta pop the dash off to get to them. I've been pumping CO2 gas from my exhaust inside the car to kill them, but I don't know. I tossed away the carpet too, because you never know, they might have diseases on it from the mice, rats or whatever. So yeah, it sucks, but it happens. Seems like every time I work on this car, it's always one step forward, two steps back. But I'm happy the car is running, and it's running very well. The boost so fast, just revving it, and I'm pretty happy about that. This is a downer that I gotta pull the dash now, but it is what it is. So I vacuumed everything inside the car, and there's no new droppings, which means hopefully there's no rats in here. But I still want to get behind the dash just because there could be droppings inside the air vents, and I want to clean that out because I don't want that kind of air blowing in my face. Feces could hold some sort of diseases or whatever, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so when you're taking off those defroster vents, you want to start from the outside edges and pop those out first, and do like one at a time, and use like 2 screwdrivers and just kind of pry up, and it's kind of a feel thing, but if you take your time and like don't flex the vent too much, you should be able to pry them off. And then another thing is you always want to drop the steering column when taking off the dashboard, or else if you don't, you can still remove the dashboard, but you're going to put a bunch of stress in this corner and it's going to crack the dash here.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
So I asked Yev to take out the vents, and he took the whole dash out for me. So thanks, Yev.
Yeah, no problem, man.
So yeah, I'm just gonna drive like this to break in my clutch until I figure out if I want to either paint this or do a bed liner type deal. I haven't really decided yet. So yeah, I'm glad it's gonna run. So let's go for a drive. It's gonna be pretty dope. So after I test drove the car, all of a sudden my cluster decided to stop working. My speedo just decided to give out, so I have no idea how fast I was going. And then my oil pressure gauge decided to go off, so I started freaking out. And there's a power steering leak, and also as I jacked up the car, I also noticed that there is a small oil leak coming from the return line of the rubber hose off the S15 turbo. So after further inspection, I had noticed that the freaking oil line is actually pinched a little bit because I didn't use the OEM style. I actually found a random hose I cut up and thought it would been fine. So what I'm assuming what happened is that when I was like going into boost, the rubber twisted and then it created a little bit of back pressure, so the oil wasn't flowing to the block as good, so it dropped my oil temp or oil pressure down. And yeah, and also the oil gauge isn't really reading correctly. I think it's because I connected all the grounds together, so I think I need to get an individual ground for the oil pressure, that way it will read correctly, because sometimes I'll turn it on and it'll say it's at like 30, and then sometimes I turn it on and it'll say it's at 20. Sometimes I turn it on and it'll say it's at 8 or 0. So I don't know. Gonna fix that too, and hopefully I didn't mess up my bearings or anything like that.
Now that you're gone, I spend my nights all alone here, wishing you were here, sweet atmosphere. The sun is going down and I am getting wild. It's sun going down, my intentions are mild.
It's like a Ferrari 360.